Okay, so what year are you guys? What age group are you guys playing for? Tell me.
09.
So we're the 09, okay? So what grades are you guys in? Tell me.
Seventh.
Seventh. Do we have any eighth graders?
Sixth.
Sixth. So we're sixth and seventh, right? Mostly? Yes?
Sixth.
Okay, great. So sixth and seventh grade, this is the time when we need to start to think about getting better academically and getting better on the soccer field as well. So it's kind of a combination that you need to start to think about here, because what happens is when we are at this age, we have to start to build really strong habits that we could take with us as we enter high school. So really, I wanted to get us together kind of to review everything that we're doing for impact so you can see where you are right now in your own development in your age group of 2009, and then what to expect when you progress through impact with your club and through our league, because we really have a lot of special programmings that some of you have been exposed to, and some of you are seeing on social media, or your parents are getting emails about all of the good stuff that we're doing. So I wanted to put it all into perspective for each of you so you can understand a little bit about impact as a league and what we have to offer to you. So before I get started, I just wanted to see how everybody is doing. And if you can kind of give me a check-in, how's school going for everybody? So if you can check in with me, I would appreciate it. How are you guys doing with school? You can unmute yourself and tell me. No one wants to unmute themselves? Am I going to be the only voice?
Things are good for Lila.
Good, things are good for Lila, great. So I'll tell you my school story. So I am a professor at Endicott College, so we have semesters. So today was the first day of the spring semester, and I have to say I'm exhausted because it is so, it's a change when you have to go and speak for 3 hours in front of groups of people, and then I'm going to do it tonight for 3 hours with our impact crew. But I'll tell you what, as a professor and as a teacher, the best part of starting a new semester is that everyone gets a fresh start. I get a fresh start, the students get a fresh start, and it's your chance to reinvent yourself. This is really important for each of you to hear. This is your chance to reinvent yourself when you start fresh. So for some of you, it could be some schools, maybe you're starting a new class that was so first half is over, second half, maybe you're entering new classes. That's the style in a lot of middle schools to do that. So maybe you're picking up a new elective. In high school, that would happen to you as well. And in college, ultimately, you will change classes every semester. But for you as soccer players, every season is a new season for you. So I know we're training indoors. I know you're going to different, maybe going to different tournaments. Impact is hosting our indoor classic February 12th that maybe your teams will be going to. There's a lot going on that are fresh starts for you. And so I would like you to think about how you want to reinvent yourself when you have a fresh start, okay? So this is important to visualize yourself. You have to, now as soccer players who might have an ultimate goal to play in high school, to play in college, you have to think about what are the ingredients that I can add to myself to make myself stand out, to make myself better, and to overall improve. So everyone should take very seriously this chance to start anew, okay? This chance to reinvent yourself. Because sometimes when it could be you starting a new school, it could be you're on a new team, and some of us might not have a voice yet or a confidence yet. When you start fresh, no one knows anything that you've done in the past. That's why I love the start of the new semester, even though I get tired. I love the start because every student in that classroom gets a chance to just become who they want to become. So I'll tell you what I did on the first day of class for my students, and they were all in sport management or esports management. At the very end of class, so last 10 minutes of class, I asked, all of my students to write down what job they wanted. I wanted them to write down what position they wanted after graduation. Okay, so what position did they want? So I told them if I were sitting in their seat, I would want to have a college head women's soccer coach. That would be the position that I wanted. Okay. And a lot of them have their laptops, obviously. So I said, make it 24 font, highlight it, bold it, and make it a different color than the rest of your notes. And what that does is it puts a picture in their head of what they are dreaming of doing. Okay. And the dream, when you write it down, sometimes gets closer to reality. When you say it out loud, it gets closer to reality. When you repeat it in your head, you start to think about what you have to do. So we wrote it out, we bolded it, we made it a bigger font than everything else. And then I said, as we go through class, I want you to have a timeline. I want you to figure out your year of graduation. So a lot of them are graduating May 2024. Okay. And I said, use May 2024 and then go the opposite direction. What are you going to do May 2023? What are you going to do May 2022 to help you to get to your job? That's what each of you should be doing for your soccer life. Okay. You should start to plan out what you want to accomplish on the soccer field, ultimately as a college athlete. Okay, so we are starting to think about college now. Yes, we are. And you're probably not going to visit colleges, but you might hear older relatives talk about it, your siblings talk about college, me talk about college, and then you can start to formulate an idea of what types of colleges you're interested in. And a really important thing too about impact is that the coaches that you're training with or the coaches that you're playing against, the other team's coaches, could be college coaches. So they're watching you right now as 2009 athletes and they're taking notes. They're like, oh, that girl, Addie, she's good. I got to make sure I go back and see her when she's a little older. Okay. That girl, Sammy, holy cow. I didn't realize how good she was. Okay. And they take notes. Trust me, I was a college coach. We watch everything. Every moment we have a chance to coach, we make sure we take notes on players because ultimately we want to build our team with players that can help us out and players who are like our players that we currently have in our college program. So what I want to do today is, first of all, before we get started, has anyone ever written out their dream? Can you kind of unmute yourself and tell me, have you ever written out your dream? Okay, well, I'm not seeing many yeses and I haven't heard any voices. Emily, can you unmute yourself and tell me what you did?
Well, it wasn't mainly about soccer, but I've always wanted to like look after dogs.
Excellent. So you and I think that's okay, Emily, because when you have, and just like my students, they had their positions, it might not have related to soccer. You know, it's something that now is cemented somewhere. So I encourage all of you to write down, since we're young enough, we can write down a few goals. So we can write down our academic goal, okay? Your academic goal. So we have a few months left, 6 months, 5 months, 4 months left in school. What's your academic goal short term? And then you should look at what's your academic goal upon graduation when you're looking at high school. Like, what do you want to accomplish? Okay, what do you want your grades to be? And you know what? I said this in our Impact Social, which I hope some of you were at. Not everyone is going to be a student, and that's okay. All right, not everyone will be an A student. So what I did encourage everyone to think about is, what is your best? Okay, so your best might be B-. And folks, if you gave your best, then B- is great. Okay, so think about what your academic goals are. Think about what you want to do on the soccer field as well. So, a lot of times with soccer too, right now in your age group, you might feel like you're just a forward, you're just a defender, you're just this and you're just that. But you should try, when you're now in this middle season, the winter season, to test your skills, okay? Have a winter goal. Your winter goal could be, I want to get better defensively. You want to be a better attacker. You want to be able to strike the ball with the same pace and power with your left foot and your right foot. Those are short-term goals. But if you wrote down your long-term goal of playing college soccer, all those smaller short-term goals gets you to that long-term goal. So I'm a big believer of reminding yourself about what you want to do. So in your head, when you're talking to yourself, players, is your voice a positive voice or a blah voice? What is it? Tell me. Unmute yourself and tell me. What is your voice?
Blah.
Yeah, Sarah, go ahead.
A blah voice.
A blah voice, like a not so positive voice. Is your voice positive or just kind of whatever?
Whatever.
Okay, let's switch that and turn it around, folks, okay? Myself included, probably your parents as well, and your coaches. We have got to, all of us, make a commitment to making sure what our inner voice is saying is positive, okay? Yes, you can, Dina. Yes, you will, Sammy. You sure will, Abby. Avery, you will do that better next time. Let's get the positive voice. That's half the battle to everything that we're doing, okay? This is all going to turn into me explaining what we're doing with our college preparation, okay? Because think about this. When you're going to play in the next level, you need to have confidence inside and outside. You have to have mental toughness too. I am not the strongest person in the world, okay? But I try very hard to build myself up, okay? And you all should try to as well. Nobody here is always positive with themselves. It's impossible because we're human. But you have to turn that switch around whenever you feel your voice is not your biggest cheerleader, okay? Because when you look in the mirror, you see you, okay? It's just you and yourself, always. So remember that. So I'm gonna share my screen, okay? And just let me know if you cannot see it, but I'm sure you can because I do this every day. And I'm just going to present a few things with you. So right now, where we are with Impact is and can someone unmute and just tell me you can see this, please? Which I think you can.
We can.
Great.
We can.
Okay, so where are we as an Impact League? So these are all the clubs that we have. I'm the president of Impact, and when I joined on, I was very impressed with the commitment that the founding clubs had to generate a league that would share resources. Okay, so what does that mean, share resources? Well, everyone has access to me, which is great, and I could share all the people I know and all the ideas that I have, but we also share each other's coaches when we do special events. We share each other's fields when we do special events. And not really, honestly, I'm going to say this, is that I don't think there is another league in this country that does as much sharing as we do. So even though you might be part of, let's say, Bayside, you get all of the benefits that the Aztec group will get. So we are all interconnected, and that's something that I want you to always realize. So when we think about Impact too, I want you to also understand the interconnectedness is very important. I hope you were all at the social and you were able to really experience meeting new people and then getting to know different people as you went through the breakout rooms. One thing to realize is that, and I want to harp on this because I opened up with this in the summer. These are our core values, okay? So when you're going through your education, when you're going through your teams, when you're going through your soccer teams, I want the pride aspect I want it to be felt, okay? So I want to be able, when I'm seeing you train, when I go to your games, when we're doing special events, the shield that you wear on your uniform is so important. So I want to see and feel that pride because you're in a league that's unique, folks, okay? What we give to you is not common, it's special. So 3 things too that are part of our values would be empowerment. And what we try to do is we try to introduce you to other players within our league. We try to introduce you to professionals in the field, which I've brought in quite a few, and also other soccer players who are either current college players or have graduated. So they have gone through the college process and now are giving back. And that's part of our legacy building, because a few of the returning athletes that will be on our later Zooms actually played for some of our clubs. And the last thing is inspirational change. I hope that everything that you do and everything that we do as a league inspires you, and then that inspires you then to do something else to help your teammates and your team. So there are 2 things that are coming up, okay? So you might have heard that this weekend for the older age groups, we actually have an Impact College Coach Clinic, okay? And we had to limit it to the older age groups because they're closer to actually attending these ID days. So let me tell you what an ID day is. Colleges across the country have to recruit players, okay? So they go out, they watch teams play, and they take notes on athletes as early as could be 8th grade, 9th grade, and they make decisions on athletes in terms of whether or not they're a good fit for their institution. And a good fit means if you're a soccer coach, you obviously need to make sure they can play at your level, but bigger than that, they have to be accepted into your school. So academics is a very important piece of these ID sessions. So every college, mostly every college, will host some sort of recruiting day or something called an identification day. So sometimes you have to be invited to these identification days, ID days. Sometimes you can just sign up if you're of the right age group and you can go. Most of the ID days, college ID days, are on the actual campus of the college, run by the college coaches that work there and their college players. So it's a fantastic way for you, when you are of the older age, to not only experience going onto a campus, but you're playing for these college coaches in front of college players with other players who want to be on kind of the radar to be recruited by these coaches. So what happens on these ID days is you show up and you might not know anybody else who's there. So I try to simulate that for our Impact players. So on Saturday, the players who signed up will come and meet. I'll organize them, randomly placing them into groups. They'll go out to the field, and we have college coaches who will be running practice sessions for each of our groups. And the college coaches are going to act like they're on their own college campus, and they're going to treat everyone like they are to be recruited. And so there's a lot of pressure sometimes on players when they are training in front of new coaches. And so what I'm trying to do through the Impact College Coach Clinic is I'm trying to make us train our minds and train our body to be nervous, and then to figure out, how do we deal with being nervous about playing in front of other people? Because let's face it, soccer is a team sport. So when you are out on that field, you might not know the other 10 people who are in your group. And it's the same exact thing that's going to happen at tryouts when you're trying out for your high school team, or if you're trying out or going to an ID day. So that's what I'm trying to simulate. So when you're old enough, you will be invited to attend this Impact College Coach Clinic. And what I try to do also is make it so you get to at least meet with me first, so we can kind of go over some techniques and also some expectations. So in the next Zooms that I have tonight, I'm actually going to tell the players, look, when you show up to go to this coach clinic, you are being watched. And this is true of every single game you're in, all of you here. How you react to an official, how you react to your parents who are kind of still fixing your bag and giving you your water bottle, how you react to your coach who might take you out of the game, how you react to a teammate who maybe didn't give you that very best pass. College coaches are watching. We want players who are good teammates. We want players who are good kids. So if you're yelling at your parents, okay, do I really want to recruit you? No, I do not. So we all get frustrated with our parents. I get it. But you have to understand when you're on a field, you are being watched, okay? And take that as a pride thing, that you are somebody that people are looking at for potentially playing at the next level. Take it as a pride thing, okay? Don't let the little things bug you. Play on if you make a mistake. Those are some of the things I'm going to reinforce in the later Zooms, because we all want to be perfect. Soccer is a game of mistakes. When you make a mistake, the other team capitalizes, big deal, get back on your bike, win the ball back, and figure it out, okay? There's no time to kind of be upset with yourself. Be upset with yourself when you're by yourself and you want to make changes and you visualize those changes. But game day, practice day, ID day, you need to figure out how to be mentally strong, okay? Because sometimes when you make a mistake, you see it, your coach sees it, the whole world doesn't see it. So don't dwell on it, okay? Unmute yourself if you have a question about the Impact College Coach Clinic, please. Anyone, players or parents.
What age would you have to be to go to that?
So for the actual ones on a college campus, it will depend. Sometimes they only want to look at sophomores and juniors in high school. Sometimes they'll say open up to all high school players. For us at Impact, we will be starting at the 2008 age group for this session, okay? So next year is when your group will be able to go. One question I do want to answer is it free to go to these college ID days? No, usually it's not. Even when you go to a college, it will be a cost. So this is where you and your family have to think about what colleges are you interested in? Where do you want to go to college? What types of majors are you interested in? Because you really can't go to a lot of ID days because sometimes they're also on the same weekend. So you kind of have to do your research, and that's where your guidance counselor comes into play and talking about what schools are a good academic match for you, a good soccer match for you, something your coach could talk about, and then social match. That's when you visit campus and can you see yourself on that campus? Excellent question. Do we have another question? Okay. And then in May, we're actually hosting a mixed club event, and I'll send out more information on that for the different age groups that will be eligible. But this is where I invite colleges to come watch our players play. And we mix the players across all of the clubs. So you won't be just playing with your team. It'll be random, just like we're doing at the Coach Clinic. But it's just called it's called a college showcase. So again, I will invite colleges from Division 1, 2, and 3 to come watch our players train. And so that would be for the older age group as well, because we want them to be seen by the college coaches, okay? So these are just some things to be looking forward to. But if you heard me, it's still about the mental training, right? And also bouncing back from mistakes. So a couple of other things that you'll take advantage of this year is all the networking that we're doing and all of the college prep work, which I think some of you are at in the fall. And we'll start to do some more of kind of understanding what it's like to be a high school player or a high school age player playing club. All of those things will be important. But everything that you're doing right now is connecting yourself. And to me, that's the community impact. So impact, just as a reminder, you have resources that you should use. So every Zoom that we have is recorded. So the ones that we have later tonight with the college players, and that's at 7 o'clock. And then we have ones at 8 o'clock with college former student athletes. So they've graduated. You can still see them on our Impact YouTube channel. So you should be going back to our Impact NPL YouTube channel to see all of the videos that we have saved, which are all of the Zooms, okay? So it's really important to think about it. So this picture, this photo is from our event last year. So what's really cool is everybody's wearing, their club uniform, okay? So we mix you all across the clubs, because that's what is simulated when you do go to a college showcase, or when you do go to a college ID day. You don't know who you're playing with, okay? So your comfort level is not very high. When your comfort level is not very high, you have to figure out mentally how to get through it. Because when you expect a certain pass from your current teammates now, you get it. Maybe when you're playing with other people, you're not going to get that beautiful pass right on your left foot, right? So you have to kind of go with the flow and adjust in order to be able to work with other people, okay? Okay, any questions on any of the information I just shared? Okay, so who's upset that they're not doing the ID clinic this Saturday? Tell me. Were you hoping you could do the on the field training? Okay, well, you should be upset because you should want every opportunity to train with college coaches. So it's something to look forward to when you're at the next level. So next year you'll take advantage of that opportunity. How many of you have asked your college your impact coaches, your club coaches, where they played college soccer or if they played college soccer? Can anybody tell me if you know, or have you asked? Anyone?
My coach has played soccer in the past.
Do you know where?
No.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, you should all ask your club coaches, okay? Where did you play college soccer, if they did play college soccer, okay? Or even if they didn't play college soccer, where did you go to college, okay? Why is that important? Because they might say a college or an institution that you never would have thought of. And now you just did a little bit of research in the college space, okay? So this is where you're all here tonight. So that shows me you're committed, okay? You're all gonna hop on the YouTube channel and you're gonna watch other videos and Zooms that we've recorded. This shows your commitment. So you need to do your own research and ask people questions. Where did you go to school? Okay, why did you go to that school? All of those details are important. So tonight, I'm just going to share my screen one more time. Sorry. I do want to highlight, let me just go back to this. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. I want to highlight that some of the people that we have on our Zooms, okay, were you a few years ago. So let me just share this. So these two players here are from Endicott College. So I obviously coached at Endicott College and I still teach there. So I just emailed the women's coach and asked if she had two players who would want to present what it's like to attend an ID day, what it's like to be recruited by a college coach. And they both played club soccer, okay? They both did go to the Endicott College ID event that Coach Kenyon ran when they were in high school. And look at them now, right? So they're gonna be on a Zoom. Today's their first day of their semester and they volunteered their time to do this. They are not getting paid to do it. They want to do it because they know how important it is to prepare for the next level, okay? So I just want you to understand that a lot of people are here to help you out. And so if they're helping you out, in fact, there were 7 other women's soccer players from Endicott that wanted to join the Zoom. And I just said, we only need 2, but they want to give back to you because they know what it's like to be your age, okay? And it's a time when you have great opportunity. So there's something I want you to think about before I open it up to questions. You know, sometimes things don't go as we plan in life and on the soccer field. So you have to look at everything that happens to you, whether it's you're injured, the ball doesn't bounce the right way, you didn't make the save that you wanted them to save, you know, your shot just sailed over the crossbar. You've got to look at everything as lessons learned, okay? Because you need to figure out, and you need to really kind of adopt and embrace an attitude where when things don't go your way, it's an opportunity to grow, okay? It's not a negative all the time. It's an opportunity to grow. So you could look at things as obstacles, or you can look at things as opportunities, okay? So I would like us to be opportunity soccer people. So every chance you get to learn from someone, you take it. Every chance you get to give yourself a positive talk, a pep talk, you do it. And this goes for academics, social, soccer, it doesn't matter, okay? Be your own best friend. I think that will go a long way when you're preparing to try out for a college team or be recruited for a college team. It starts now. So if you're positive up here and in your heart, it will translate to other people. They'll see it, okay? Okay, any questions about anything I just went over? Any questions about impact at all? Just ask away, unmute yourselves. Sarah, go ahead.
What's the league after Impact?
It's all impact. Okay, so impact is NPL, so you just continue with your age group. So we have teams all the way up to the high school level, all the way. So there are senior teams. So right now, there are players who are 2003 that are graduating from high school this spring that are part of impact. So if you, the schedule would be exactly the same as the schedules that you have now, okay? Great question. So yeah, we go all the way up to senior year in high school. Anybody else, another question? What are you most nervous about when it comes to soccer? Can someone tell me?
Being monitored all the time, I guess.
Oh, like you mean when I just said all the college coaches are watching you, Emily?
Yeah.
Listen, I'll tell you why. You know, you never know who's going to be there, because when you get older, right? If I'm a college coach, let's just say Ella Sousa, I'm recruiting Ella Sousa, you know, I'm at a Division II school, I'm recruiting Ella. Ella sends me her schedule and she's playing on May 8th, and Addison Howell happens to be on the other team. I show up to watch Ella play and I see Addison Howell and I'm like, she's good. So I got like two kids now on my radar. I have Ella, who I think is really good, and Addison, who's really good, okay? So college coaches are not watching for the bad stuff. They're watching for the good stuff. That's, Emily, how you should frame it in your head, okay? So Emily, every time you step out onto the field, just start to train yourself to realize that people are recruiting, maybe recruiting the kid across the field from you, and then they see you flashing by and they're like, who's this kid? What number are you, Emily?
Right now I'm number 1 because I used to be a goalie.
Okay, so even if you are a goalie, it doesn't matter if you're a goalkeeper, coaches are looking at everyone on the field, because Ella's not going to hold on to the ball for the whole game, right? Somebody else is going to have the ball. So it could be Addison has the ball at her feet and I'm watching her as a college coach. All I'm trying to say is that you want to present the best you all the time when you can. We all have bad days, let's be honest. When you get older, you'll know the games that college coaches are at. You'll go to tournaments and your coach will tell you, you know, hey, this is kind of an elite tournament and stuff like that. But Emily, don't worry, because college coaches want to see the good stuff. Listen, I'm a parent and I tell my kids all the time, you know, you have to be careful how you react to a bad play. Again, officials can react also to you, and we don't want that either. So just try to, Emily, I'm sure you're fine on the field and I'm sure you're fine to your parents and your teammates. So I wouldn't stress about it, but I certainly would say to you that I bet you've observed poor behavior of other people and have said to yourself, oh my gosh, I would never do that. So again, the people you play against maybe are doing things that you are not really appropriate for a soccer player to play at the next level. Did that help, Emily?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, anybody else? Question? Addie McCaffrey, did you have a question? McCafferty. What do they call, do you have a nickname, Addie?
Just Addie.
Love it. You have a good name. So eventually also, ladies, just so you know, all of the games that you're playing are recorded on VIO, right? Your coaches record all the games. And then eventually, when you probably next year or the year after, you should be able to look at the video and create like a highlight reel of all of the games that you've played. So college coaches will, if they can't go to a game, they will ask for highlights. And you would ask the college coach exactly what they want to see. Some college coaches want a full game. Some college coaches do want the highlights. So it depends. So the games that are being recorded are kind of cool too. How many of you have Instagram? Raise your hand. Instagram, okay. Well, good, because what I did is actually for my son is I created his own Instagram. See you, Sarah. I created his own Instagram account that's just between me and him. And he's in 8th grade. And I just put his highlights on that Instagram because then he has video of himself, but he can watch himself and he can see what did he do well and what can he improve upon. So that's another thing that you can think about is maybe creating with your parents, like an Instagram account just for you and your family. Doesn't go outside where you could just have all of your highlights and maybe even some cool photos of yourself that you can always go back to. So those are a couple of tricks that since I have an athlete that's almost the same age as all of you that I've been doing with him. And so I understand that right now you might say, oh, I don't need that, but it's nice to see yourself playing because then you could see what you could have done differently or what did you do very well, okay? Catherine, what's your question?
Will all the impact games be recorded?
They are recorded, yes. So just ask your coaches, okay? And they should be able to provide that for you. But you can also give your parents on the sideline a job, and if you do have an Instagram account that's your own, they could go live right off your Instagram account, and it could be saved as a reel, and then you always have it, and you can edit it by just using your phone, right? And you can screen record yourself. So those are a couple of tricks, and I'll run some sessions on how to do like a highlight reel for players, and you should go to it even though you might be not of high school age. It doesn't matter. You can go to it. Anybody else questions? Okay, did this session help you? Give me some feedback. Maya, unmute yourself.
It was interesting to learn about like all the things that you do for your college team.
Yeah, so I'm not coaching college anymore, but I'm a professor of sport management. But I have a really good relationship with the soccer program at Endicott College, and so I have worked the Endicott College ID Day, and I actually love working that session because I can give the college coaches my own perspective on players as well. And I love to also bring that back to impact. So I love how different coaches organize their ID Day. And I also like to talk to the players when they arrive and hopefully help calm their nerves when they get to an ID Day on a college campus. One thing to add too is every college coach will do it differently. So if you go to an ID Day, it's not just soccer. So you will show up and they might give you a tour of the campus. You might have lunch with the team and then you train, or you'll do that after. So you get to learn. It's not just about soccer. So one thing about looking at colleges is that the college coach wants to make sure you fit in because they want you there for 4 years. So academics is very important to that college coach. How you do on your grades as a high school student matters to that college coach. Even though you could be the most talented soccer player in the world, you still need to have the grades for that institution. And it doesn't mean it's all A's, okay? It's the grades for that institution to get in. You have to be accepted by that school before you can play for that school. So that's something to think about. And every school is different, okay, with their standards and their academic levels that you need to meet. Thanks, Maya. Anybody else? Abigail, what about you? What did you think? And then I'll go to Addie.
I like what you told Emily about how they're not really looking at the bad stuff, just the good stuff, because that made me feel like better about like the playing, just in case like yeah, that ends up happening.
So there are, in our history of soccer, women's soccer, there was a coach, Tony DeChico. He's passed away. He actually was at Springfield College and he coached our women's national team. And he wrote a book and it's called Catch Them Being Good. So important to think about. I always say that to the coaches, catch them being good, because as coaches, we always point out, this is what you could have done. This is what you could have done better. Why didn't you do this? But when we catch you doing something good, it's so much more refreshing and enriching. So don't worry, Abigail. They will find the good stuff. And the beautiful thing about college coaches is they are very open to all players. Like I said, they might show up to see, Emily play, and then all of a sudden they see Avery, and that's how relationships will build. Okay. Who was I calling on? All right. Anybody else have a final word before I let you go? Okay, so be sure to follow us on social media, or tell your parents to, if you're not on social media, to get all the latest and greatest news and graphics and visuals. It was really great to see each of you. Hopefully you're all going, your teams are going to our February 12th Impact Indoor Classic. If you ever have any questions though, you can email me. Your parents have my email address, or you can email your coach and your club director and they can get to me. Okay? So thank you for spending some of your Monday with me. Remember to write down your goals, okay? Remember to have positive self-talk and be your biggest fan, all right? So doesn't matter if you make a mistake. What matters is how you recover from that mistake. And everybody's going through something in life right now, folks, okay? But you will get through it. And Impact is here for you. And we're really supporting you on everything that you're trying to do on the soccer field and off the soccer field. So it's always great to see you. Thank you, everyone. Have a really great night, and I'll see you soon.